The deep space research vessel Horizon drifted silently through the Carina Nebula's outer rim, its sensors probing the cosmic dust for signs of the theoretical dark matter streams that had brought them to this remote sector. Dr. Elena Santos stood at the bridge's observation window, her dark eyes reflecting the swirling purple and blue gases outside. The ship's 3-month mission had yielded fascinating data, but nothing groundbreaking enough to justify the expensive expedition. Dr. Santos. Lieutenant Jones' voice cut through her contemplation. We're picking up an unusual energy signature, bearing 047 Mark 23. Elena hurried to the sensor station, her interest piqued. The reading was unlike anything she'd seen before, a perfectly regular oscillation of quantum particles that couldn't possibly be natural. Can you get a visual? The main view screen flickered to life, revealing a massive structure floating against the nebula's backdrop. Its design was clearly artificial, but completely alien. A series of interconnected crystalline spheres arranged in a spiral pattern, each nearly a kilometer in diameter. The structure's surface was etched with intricate patterns that pulsed with a faint, dying light. "My God," Elena whispered. First contact. Captain Sarah Chen entered the bridge, her normally composed demeanor showing signs of controlled excitement. Status report. The structure appears to be some kind of vessel, Captain, Elena explained. But its power signature is extremely weak and degrading. Whatever it is, it's failing. The captain nodded grimly. Life signs. Lieutenant Zhang worked his console. Thousands, ma'am. But they're very faint, almost like they're in some kind of suspended animation. It's an arc ship, Elena realized, the implications hitting her like a physical force. They're in cryostasis, and their systems are failing. Captain Chen didn't hesitate. Sound General Quarters. Dr. Santos, assemble your first contact team. Lieutenant Zhang, begin calculating safe approach vectors. Whatever happens next, we're not letting those people die out here. The next hour was organized chaos as the Horizon's crew prepared for humanity's first rescue mission of an alien species. Elena's team worked frantically to decode the alien vessel's external markings, which appeared to be both decorative and functional, a form of data storage unlike anything in human experience. The patterns are crystalline computing structures, Dr. Patel, their xenotechnology specialist, announced. They're storing massive amounts of data, but also slowly degrading as the ship's power fails. We're literally watching their civilization's knowledge die in front of us. Elena felt a chill run down her spine. Can we interface with their systems? Maybe. Patel manipulated his holographic display. The patterns suggest their technology is based on quantum crystalline matrices. If we can synchronize our quantum comm system to their frequency. A series of alien symbols suddenly flooded their screens, accompanied by a haunting harmonic tone that made Elena's teeth ache. The ship's AI began processing the alien data stream, attempting to establish basic communication protocols. Captain, Elena called over the comm. We're getting something. It's their ship's AI, I think. It's trying to talk to us. The alien AI's message gradually resolved into broken English as the translation matrices worked. HELP, power failing, 12,847 souls in stasis. Last cellular vigors of CRYSTLINE harmony. Please, help. Tell them help is coming, Captain Chen ordered, her voice firm with resolve. Tell them they're not alone anymore. Elena's fingers flew across her console, sending back a simple response. We are here. We will help. You are not alone. The alien ship's lights pulsed once, twice, then steadied slightly. The A's response came faster this time. Warning. Specificity environmental requirements. Crystal matrix life forms. Required to BVR cruelty conditions. Power for CRO CMT failing. 43 HOURs. Until Kiete Astrophe Ki Idol you are. Elena felt her blood run cold. Supercooled crystalline lifeforms. The engineering challenges of keeping thousands of alien crystal beings in precisely controlled suspended animation were staggering. The Horizon wasn't equipped for anything like this. But as she looked around at her fellow crew members' determined faces, she knew they would find a way. This was what humanity did best, facing the impossible and refusing to accept failure as an option. Dr. Santos, Captain Chen's voice was steel-wrapped in silk. You have 40 hours to figure out how to save nearly 13,000 alien crystal people. I suggest you get to work. Elena nodded, her mind already racing with possibilities. They would need to completely reconfigure the Horizon's cargo base, modify their environmental systems, possibly even cannibalize some of their own critical systems. It would be dangerous, possibly even foolhardy. But out there in the void, 12,847 souls were counting on them. 12,847 lives that every other spacefaring race would likely deem too difficult or expensive to save. Understood, Captain, Elena replied, straightening her shoulders. We're going to need every engineer and physicist we've got. And someone get me the specs on our ship's refrigeration systems. We're about to get creative. As she hurried toward the main science lab, Elena couldn't help but smile. Here they were, supposedly searching for dark matter, and instead they'd found something far more precious, a chance to prove that humanity's greatest strength wasn't our technology or our intelligence, but our fundamental refusal to abandon those in need, no matter how alien they might be. The real work was just beginning, but for the first time in her life, Elena truly understood why they called it the final frontier. It wasn't about the space between stars. It was about the space between peoples, the vast gulf of difference that only compassion and determination could bridge. And humanity was about to build one hell of a bridge. The Horizon's cargo bay had become an improvised cryogenics laboratory within hours. Engineers in thermal suits worked frantically to convert refrigeration units, while Dr. Elena Santos and her team struggled to maintain their tenuous communication with the alien vessel's eye. The crystalline entity's quantum-based computing systems operated on principles that challenged human understanding. Each attempt at deeper communication resulted in cascading data errors that threatened to overwhelm the Horizon's computers. Their consciousness exists in a quantum state, Dr. Paddle explained, his breath visible in the rapidly cooling air of the science lab. Their AI isn't just a program. It's a crystalline entity itself, operating on multiple quantum levels simultaneously. Elena nodded, her fingers flying across her console as she worked to stabilize their communication channel. So when we talk to it, we're not just exchanging data, we're interfacing with a quantum consciousness. The alien eye's messages grew increasingly erratic as its power systems continued to degrade. Gratitude, confusion, YHELP, others PSist, too difficult, too expensive. Why? Elena's response was immediate. Because it's right. Because EVUI life is Vigale UI. Because we can. The AI's reply came with a burst of harmonics that their systems interpreted as both confusion and hope. Human logic. Inefficient. Beautiful. Captain Chen's voice came over the comm. Dr. Santos, we've got a problem. Engineering reports our modified cryo systems can only handle about 20% of their survivors at a time. Even with all power diverted to life support, we'd need 5 trips to save everyone. Elena's heart sank. The alien vessel's power systems wouldn't last through multiple trips. There has to be another way. What if we could transfer their eye's quantum matrix to our systems temporarily? Use its knowledge to help us optimize our modifications. The risks would be enormous, Patel warned. Our quantum processors weren't designed for this level of complexity. We could lose both ships if something goes wrong. Elena stared at the alien vessel through the lab's viewport, its crystalline structure now visibly dimming. Ask the air. Let them decide. The response came faster than expected. Acceptable risk. Survival of people priority way. Transferring QUANTUM conscious in ES is NMATRX. Now, the Horizon system screamed in protest as the alien eye began uploading itself. Warning klaxons blared throughout the ship as power fluctuations cascaded through every deck. Elena watched in fascination as her displays filled with impossible equations and multidimensional data structures that somehow made perfect sense. "This is remarkable," she breathed. "Their entire civilization's scientific knowledge. It's not just data. It's alive." The alien eye's presence settled into their systems, its thoughts now coming in clear, melodic tones. "Your technology is primitive but adaptable. Your minds are flexible, different. We can work with this." Together, human intuition and alien precision began finding solutions that neither species could have conceived alone. The AI showed them how to modify their quantum field generators to create localized pockets of supercooled space that required minimal power. The humans contributed their expertise in jury-rigging systems and pushing equipment far beyond its intended specifications. But time was running out. The alien vessel's power core was destabilizing faster than predicted, and even with their combined innovations, they could only save about 60% of the survivors before catastrophic failure. "We need more power," Elena muttered, running another simulation. "If we could just—" She stopped, an impossible idea forming. "Captain, what if we used the dark matter streams we came here to study? The AI's quantum field calculations suggest they could act as a natural superconductor." "You want to channel dark matter through our power grid?" Captain Chen's voice was incredulous. "That's never been done before. It could tear the ship apart." The AI's response resonated through their systems. "Quantum probability calculations suggest 47.3% chance of success. 52.7% chance of catastrophic failure. Fascinating approach. Very human." Elena smiled despite herself. "Sometimes humanity's greatest achievements come from attempting the impossible, Captain. Besides, we didn't come all this way to save just some of them." There was a long pause before Chen replied. "Do it. But Elena, make it work. That's an order." The next 12 hours were a blur of desperate innovation. Human engineers worked alongside the alien eye to modify the Horizon's dark matter sensors into makeshift power collectors. They would have one chance to channel enough power to save everyone. If they succeeded, it would revolutionize human energy technology. If they failed, both ships would be destroyed. As Elena made the final adjustments to their hybrid human-alien systems, she felt a curious harmony in the ship's vibrations, as if the quantum consciousness of their alien guests was singing in resonance with the human heart of the Horizon. "Ready," the AI announced. "Initiating power transfer in 3, 2, 1. The stars outside seemed to dim as streams of invisible dark matter funneled into the Horizon's modified systems. Power readings shot off the scales as alien quantum technology merged with human determination to achieve the impossible. Elena watched the readouts climb, her breath held, hoping that sometimes the most beautiful bridges between species were built not from careful planning, but from the desperate courage to reach across the void and grasp another's hand in their darkest hour. The Horizon's lights flickered, and the alien rescue operation entered its most critical phase. The dark matter stream pulsed through the Horizon's modified systems, transforming the ship's power grid into something that defied conventional physics. Emergency lights cast an eerie glow across the cargo bay as the first group of crystalline stasis pods began their careful transfer from the dying alien vessel. Elena monitored the quantum harmonics as each pod passed through the specially constructed transfer corridor, a technological marvel cobbled together from human ingenuity and alien wisdom. The crystalline beings within the pods resembled delicate geometric sculptures, their faceted bodies refracting the emergency lights in hypnotic patterns. The alien AI's presence hummed through the ship's systems. First revival sequence initiating. Caution advised. First contact protocols. Inadequate for situation. Improvisation required. Story of our species, Elena muttered, adjusting the environmental controls. The cargo bay's temperature dropped to near absolute zero as the first pod's stasis field began to dissolve. The crystalline being within stirred, its surface catching the light in new ways as consciousness returned. Its body chimed with harmonic frequencies that the AI translated in real time. Where? What has happened? The Ark. Our people. You're safe, Elena spoke clearly, letting the AI translate her words into crystalline harmonics. Your Ark was failing. We found you just in time. The being's facets shifted, creating patterns that the AI interpreted as confusion and disbelief. You are human. The new species. The ones who barely achieved faster than light travel. That's us, Elena smiled. The primitives who couldn't bear to watch you die. More pods were arriving now, each requiring precise calibration of temperature and quantum fields. The revived being, who identified itself as First Guardian Axix, watched in amazement as human crew members worked tirelessly to stabilize each arrival. Your systems are crude, Axix observed. Your technology inefficient. By all logical standards, this rescue attempt should be impossible. Humanity has a habit of ignoring impossible odds, Captain Chen said, entering the cargo bay in a thermal suit. Welcome aboard the Horizon, First Guardian. As more crystalline beings awakened, their harmonic communications filled the cargo bay with an otherworldly symphony. The alien AI translated their conversations, revealing a culture built on precision, logic, and the preservation of knowledge. Our civilization spans 50,000 years. Axix explained. When our sun began to die, we placed our best and brightest in stasis, seeding our knowledge throughout the Ark's quantum matrices. We expected to be found by the Advanced Races Council, not a bunch of upstart humans with more heart than sense, Elena suggested. Axix's crystalline surface rippled in what the AI translated as amusement. Indeed. Yet here you are, breaking fundamental laws of physics because you refuse to accept failure. The dark matter stream powering their jury-rigged systems suddenly fluctuated, causing the quantum fields to destabilize. Warning alarms blared as temperature controls began to fail. Power surge in the convergent matrix. Lieutenant Zhang's voice crackled over the comm. The stream is becoming unstable. Elena rushed to the control panel, her fingers flying over the controls. But it was Axix who responded fastest, its crystalline body extending tendrils of living crystal that interfaced directly with the ship's systems. Your methods are chaotic, the First Guardian chimed, but they contain elegant possibilities. Allow me to assist. Human and crystalline technologies merged as Axix channeled its quantum computational abilities through the Horizon systems. The dark matter stream stabilized, transformed by alien mathematics and human determination into something entirely new. Remarkable. Axix hummed. Your species' ability to adapt, to forge connections where none should exist. It is not a weakness, as the advanced races believe. It is perhaps your greatest strength. More pods arrived as the rescue operation continued, each successful transfer building a bridge of trust between the two species. The crystalline beings began sharing their knowledge freely with the human crew, while the humans taught them about improvisation, intuition, and the power of refusing to give up. Your civilization values knowledge above all else, Elena observed, watching the growing community of crystalline beings in the cargo bay. Ours values the courage to use that knowledge in unexpected ways. Perhaps. Axix resonated thoughtfully. That is why the universe brought us together. Your chaos and our order. Your passion and our precision. Together, we create possibilities that neither of us could imagine alone. But even as the rescue operation progressed, the Horizon's sensors detected a new threat approaching, a stellar phenomenon that threatened to destroy both ships before they could complete the transfer. The next few hours would test the limits of both species' abilities and the strength of their newfound trust. The stellar anomaly appeared without warning, a massive gravitational wave that rippled through space-time, threatening to tear apart both vessels. The Horizon's sensors screamed as readings went off the scale, while the alien Ark's failing shields flickered against the approaching distortion. "Gravitational shear will hit us in 17 minutes, Lieutenant Zhang reported, his voice tight with tension. "The Ark won't survive the impact. We still have 4,000 refugees in stasis over there." Captain Chen's face was illuminated by the emergency lighting. Options. Elena worked frantically with Axix and the alien AI, running simulations through their hybrid systems. The numbers were devastating. We can't outrun it. Even at maximum thrust, the gravitational wave will catch us before we can reach safe distance. "Then we abandon the Ark," someone suggested. "Say who we can and—" "No." The word came simultaneously from Chen and Axix, human voice and crystalline harmonics in perfect sync. The first Guardian's facets pulsed with determination. "We have not survived 50,000 years to abandon our people now. There must be another way." Elena stared at the sensor readings, an impossible idea forming. The dark matter stream they'd been using for power, it wasn't just providing energy, it was creating quantum-level connections between space-time points. If they could expand that principle. "What if we don't try to outrun it?" she said slowly. "What if we ride it instead?" The alien AI's calculations appeared instantly. "Purbability of FSUCCESS. Incalculable. No historical precedentexs. Sis. "Explain," Chen ordered. "The gravitational wave is like a tsunami in space-time," Elena said, fingers flying over her console. "We can't escape it, but maybe we can surf it. The dark matter stream is already creating quantum bridges in space. If we extend that effect, create a bubble of quantum-stabilized space around both ships. The power requirements would be enormous," Axix chimed, "far beyond what even our combined systems could generate. Unless," Elena looked at the first Guardian, "we use the wave itself. Its own energy, channeled through your quantum matrices and our dark matter collectors. Turn the threat into the solution." Captain Chen's eyes narrowed. "The risks." "Total," Elena admitted. "If it works, we ride the wave to safety with both ships intact. If it fails, we're torn apart at the quantum level. But we're out of options in time." The bridge fell silent save for the wail of warning klaxons. Shen looked at Axix, a silent understanding passing between them. "First Guardian," she asked formally. Axix's crystalline surface rippled with complex harmonics. "My people were architects of quantum space before your ancestors left their caves, Captain. We built our civilization on careful calculation and predictable outcomes. But perhaps it is time we learned to surf." The next 15 minutes were controlled chaos as both crews raced to implement their desperate plan. The remaining crystalline refugees were secured as human engineers worked alongside alien quantum physicists to modify their hybrid systems. The dark matter stream was reconfigured, transformed into a quantum web that began to encompass both vessels. "Wave impact in 2 minutes," Zhang announced. Elena watched the readouts as power built in their modified systems. The quantum field surrounding the ships pulsed with possibilities, human chaos theory merging with alien precision to create something entirely new in the universe. 1 minute. Captain Chen's voice came over the ship-wide comm. "All hands, brace for impact. Whatever happens next, I want you to know. This is why we came to space. Not just to explore, but to prove that different species, different ways of thinking, can come together to achieve the impossible." 30 seconds. Axix's harmonics resonated through the ship. "We offer thanks, humans of the horizon. Whatever the outcome, you have taught us that there is wisdom in uncertainty, courage in chaos, and hope in helping others without calculation of cost." 10 seconds. Elena felt the ship shudder as the gravitational wave approached. The quantum field blazed with energy, dark matter streams weaving through alien crystal matrices in patterns that defied physics. 5. She reached out, placing her hand against the nearest crystal surface. Axix's harmonic response thrummed through her bones. "Here we go," Elena whispered. The gravitational wave hit. Reality twisted as the gravitational wave engulfed both ships. Space itself seemed to fold and ripple around their quantum bubble, dark matter streams glowing with impossible light as they channeled the wave's enormous power. The horizon's hull groaned under forces it was never designed to withstand, while crystalline harmonics reached frequencies that made human teeth ache. Through it all, human and alien systems worked in perfect synchronization. Elena's jury-rigged interfaces merged seamlessly with Axix's quantum calculations, their combined technology riding the wave like a leaf in a storm. Time seemed to lose meaning as space warped around them. When reality finally stabilized, they found themselves light years from their original position. Both ships were intact, their quantum bubble having protected them from forces that should have torn them apart. "Damage report," Chen called out, her voice steady despite what they'd just experienced. "Minimal structural damage," John reported, sounding amazed. "The quantum field absorbed most of the stress. But, Captain, you need to see these readings." The dark matter collectors had undergone an unexpected transformation. The interaction between the gravitational wave, alien quantum matrices, and human technology had created something entirely new, a stable quantum bridge between crystal and organic matter. "Fascinating," Axix chimed, its harmonics expressing wonder. "Your chaotic approach to physics has catalyzed an evolutionary leap in our own technology. The quantum bridge, it allows direct interface between our consciousness and your digital systems." Elena studied the readings with growing excitement. This could revolutionize both our civilizations. The crystalline people's quantum computing abilities combined with human adaptability and creativity. More than that, the alien eye interjected, its presence now flowing smoothly through both ships' systems. "This discovery creates possibility of true symbiosis between our species." Captain Chen turned to First Guardian Axix. "The crystalline people need a new home. Earth has vast polar regions that could be adapted to your environmental needs. With this quantum bridge technology, we could build sanctuaries where both our species could live and work together." Axix's surface rippled with complex emotions that needed no translation. "You would share your world with us. After all you have already sacrificed, you've already shared something more valuable with us," Elena said. "You've shown us that the universe is fuller of wonders than we imagined, and that different forms of life can find common ground in the face of impossible odds." The rescue operation resumed with renewed vigor. Using their enhanced quantum technology, they completed the transfer of the remaining refugees in record time. As the last stasis pod was secured aboard the Horizon, the ancient Ark systems finally failed, its crystalline structure dissolving into space like a scattered dream. But its legacy would live on. In the months that followed, the first crystalline settlements were established in Earth's polar regions. The quantum bridge technology spawned new fields of science and engineering as human and alien minds worked together in ways previously unimaginable. The Horizon's dark matter research mission had discovered something far more precious than theoretical particles. It had proven that the true frontier of space exploration wasn't just the vast distances between stars, but the connections that could be forged between different forms of life. 5 years later, Elena stood in the grand chamber of the first human crystalline university, watching students of both species working together on projects that merged quantum precision with human inspiration. Above the entrance, words glowed in both English and crystalline harmonics. "The universe is not made of atoms alone, but of courage, compassion, and the willingness to reach across the void." Axix approached, its crystalline form now adorned with traces of Earth minerals that sparkled in the polar light. "The Advanced Races Council has finally responded to our situation," it chimed with amusement. "They are confused by our success here. They cannot comprehend how a primitive species accomplished what they deemed impossible. Should we tell them our secret? Elena smiled. That sometimes the most advanced technology isn't about computational power or energy efficiency, but about having the heart to try the impossible. Perhaps. Axix resonated thoughtfully. That is a lesson they must learn for themselves, just as we did. After 50,000 years of existence, it took a group of humans in a retrofitted research vessel to teach us that true wisdom lies not in avoiding chaos, but in finding harmony within it. Outside the university's quantum-stabilized windows, an aurora painted the polar sky in sheets of flowing color. But to those who knew how to look, another kind of light was visible too. The quantum bridges connecting human and crystalline minds in an ever-growing network of shared knowledge and understanding. The impossible rescue had become something more, proof that in the vast cosmic ocean, the strongest ships were built not of metal or crystal alone, but of the bonds forged between those brave enough to reach out and help each other, even across the darkness between stars.